In this video, we are going to look at how to fill out a table like this whenever we have two different dice and comparing what information we know. So let's say we are doing the sum of two dice. Sum of dice means we are adding the two numbers that we get on our two separate dice. So if we roll a 1 and another 1, 1 plus 1 gives us 2. That would be a sum right at that moment. We can continue on. What if we roll a 1 and a 2? Adding those together, 2 plus 1 gives us 3. And then we could keep going. If we were to get a 3 and a 1, that sum would be 4. If we get a 4 and a 1, 4 plus 1 gives us 5. We roll a 5 and a 1, 5 plus 1, 6. And a 6 and a 1, 6 plus 1, 7. And so we could fill this out going all the way through all of the different options on this table. So if we were to jump over rolling a 2 on the first dice and then rolling a 1, 2 plus 1 gives us 3. Rolling a 2 and then another 2, 2 plus 2 gives us 4. And then we could continue going. 2 plus 3 would give us a 5. 2 plus 4, a 6. 2 plus 5, 7, 2 plus 6, and 8. And we could continue this throughout the entire table, going all the way over whenever we roll 3 in all of the following on the second dice, a 4 on the first dice, a 5, or a 6. So we could get all the way to the end, rolling a 6 on one dice and a 6 on a second dice, 6 plus 6 giving us 12. So that's how the sum would look. You can do this also with any other mathematical situation. So let's say, for instance, we did instead of the sum, let's change it to the product. Right, product means you multiply. So we could take this same thing as the product of the dice and multiply. Again, 1 and 1, 1 times 1 gives us 1. But then what if we had 1 times 2? 1 times 2 gives us 2. 1 times 3 gives us 3. 1 times 4 gives us 4. And we could continue all the way to 6 on the first dice times a 6 on the second dice gives us 36. So that's if we were multiplying. You can fill out these charts for a wide variety of reasons, multiplying them, adding them, subtracting them, but all of them would work the same way. Taking your first die and either adding, multiplying, or subtracting it with the second dice. Going back to the sum one, I'm going to pause this real quick and fill out the rest of this chart so we can review how to do a bar graph. So as you can see here, I now have the entire chart filled out for the sum of all of my dice, going through row by row, adding up the total, the dice 1 plus the dice 2, and I can see how my chart fills out. You may see a little bit of a pattern, and that's going to help us with step number 2 of this. So if we were to take all of this information, we could create what we call a bar graph. So as a reminder from what you might have seen in previous years, a bar graph is going to show the number of times each of these sums, I should say sums in this video, occurs on our table. So we have, let me zoom out again. So we've got our frequency going up where the y-axis is, and then our sum of the dice going down below. You see we have each of the numbers we could have gotten to all the way up to 12. So what we're going to do to create this bar graph, we're going to come up and count. Let's start with 2. How many times does a 2 show up in my chart? I can see it only shows up once. So I'm going to come down here and fill in 1 of my boxes, because this 2 only has 1 box. All right, and I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to go to 3. I'm going to count up how many times my 3 shows up here. 1, 2. There's only 2 3s. So I'm going to come and do 2 3s down here. I've got 1 box for the 3 and then a second box. And I'm going to continue this process 4 through 12. So if I come up here to the 4 and I count how many 4s there are. 1, 2, there's 3 4s in my container, not my container, in my table here. So I'm going to go down here, count to 4. There's 3 of them, so 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm going to pause this video, and then you can see what the final picture looks like after I finish this process. So you can see up here, I have finished pressing off everything. I have included all of these numbers. And so then I can see my nice chart showing all the frequencies for the sums, all from 2 all the way to 12. Now this is a nice, pretty symmetrical chart. They aren't always going to be this way. This one just turned out. Hopefully this helps you as you apply this information to your own process.